Yeah. So we know that OFDM is a very hot technology right now, and it is used in wireline standards. It is used in uh, cellular standards like LTE, and obviously we know that it is also used in 5G era. But as we know that we are already, I think most of you are already aware with the plus points of OFDM, that it is used for to mitigating intersymbol interference. We can use it in frequency selective fading environment and so on. Okay, but everything comes with a price. So OFDM also has some minus points also. Yeah, one of them, which is very widely populated in the literature, is PAPR. But other than that, there are some synchronization errors also. Okay, and in this session, we will mainly focus on those synchronization errors. Okay, because in the presence of those synchronization errors or inaccuracies, the performance of OFDM system can be greatly degraded. Okay, and some of the synchronization errors. So let me show you this. So basically, this block diagram or this diagram actually shows us. Uh, yeah, this actually shows us TX. The signal. This is my transmitted signal. It is passing through a wireless channel, and finally, this is a received signal. Okay, and on the TX, it is showing first a digital to analog converter. So I am receiving, at this point, I am getting a digital signal, basically some bits, converting it to analog form. Then this is a local oscillator because I have to put it on a carrier frequency. Till here, my signal is in baseband. Okay, so I did orthogonal multiplexing here. That's why I first I'm multiplying with the cosine 2 pi FCT and sine 2 pi FCT. Then summing it, transmitting it. And on the receiver side, I'm doing the reverse operation. Just one thing, if in between I am not audible or my screen is not visible, just you can let me know. You can please speak because I'm not looking at my chat right now. Okay, please speak up. Okay, so on the receiver, I'm doing basically the inverse of this. Okay, now uh, these things mainly are the hardware components. Okay, and we know that we cannot make an ideal hardware. There are some imperfections in our hardware. Okay, so for example, LO can introduce, or LO basically introduces phase noise or LO leakage. Similarly, on the receiver side. So receiver side, I have also put up another term, which is CFO or carrier frequency offset. For example, if at the transmitter, the carrier frequency is 3 gigahertz, it need not be the same, exactly same at the receiver end. It may be offset by some 100 hertz, 1 kilohertz, or 10 kilohertz, based on how good my LO is. Then, after down converting it, we have to sample it again. Okay, so sample it again, like there has to be some sampling frequency at the transmitter, let's say some 100 mega sample per second. But on the receiver, because the hardware is different, it may have some offset. Okay, so that can introduce some sampling clock offset or SCO. Then when I am doing the multiplication, or when we are doing the multiplication at these ends, also at these ends, the gains, ideally what we think that, okay, this is basically this is what the gain of this branch is, similar is the gain of this branches. So let's say this one is the I branch or in phase branch, this one is the Q branch or quadrature branch. Okay, but they need not be equal, so that introduces gain imbalance. Similarly, these angles, like I generated one sinusoidal signal like cos 2 pi FCT. Okay, so what usually ideally we think that this branch it is going cos 2 pi FCT, this branch it is going sine 2 pi FCT, because they are separated by 90 degrees. But who knows, it is exactly 90 degree. It could be 91 degree, 95 degree, 85 degree, something else like that. So this basically introduces quadrature skew. Okay, there are some other impairments also. For example, we can say that the I branch and Q branch, there can be some time delay also. Okay, so but yeah, we have to, like in this session, I will be focusing mainly on these parameters or these impairments.